Hi friends, today we are going to see about the installation video of Oracle 10G on Oracle Enterprise Linux 4.7 version, and I'm just going to detail the steps on how we can perform this. So as you can see on the screen, already I have Oracle Enterprise Linux software installed on a virtual machine, and I'm going to connect to this virtual machine with the help of a PuTTY session which is on my Windows machine. So I have already saved the session with this particular IP address. So I'm just opening this session, and the first thing that it is going to show you is the login credentials, and I'm going to connect it as a root user, and through which we are going to perform some pre-installation steps. So as part of the installation, the very first step that we are going to use is group add o install. So basically with this command we are going to add a group with the name o install. The purpose of having this particular group is whoever the user belongs to this group can able to do Oracle installation, and this command will run successfully in Red Hat Enterprise Linux or any other Linux flavor, and in Oracle Enterprise Linux, because that Linux was already prepared for Oracle installation, so this group is already existing, and when you try to run this command you may land up with warning like this, so which says group is already existing. So we don't really require to worry about this, so because it has no impact on our installation. And as a second group we are going to add another group by the name DBA, and the purpose of this particular group is again whoever the user belongs to this group can able to do Oracle database administration, like the administration activities, startup and shutdown, or the creation of users or table spaces, data file editions, etc, etc. And like the above, here also you may land up with warning saying that the group is already existing. Nothing to panic here. And the third step, we are going to add a user by mentioning this o install as primary group, and for that we are going to use this option called -g, and for the same user we are going to mention DBA as the secondary group, and further we are going to use the option as -g. And here I can use any username, like I can give Pawan, or I can give any other name, but when comes to real time we generally use the standard username as Oracle, so I'm just following the same. And because this is Enterprise Linux from Oracle Corporation, so already this user also will be there, and by default the password is also Oracle for this user. So if at all I want to change the password of the user, then I need to run this command password Oracle, so where it is going to prompt you the new password. So enter the password twice so that your new password will be updated, and then we are going to check out how many file systems are there in this particular Unix system. And I totally have 5 operating mount points. The first one is root mount point, which is nothing but the operating system files are going to reside here, and the second one is shared memory, which is nothing but the SJ and PJ memory allocations will be done here, and the third one, fourth one and fifth one are being the user defined mount points or file systems, and we are going to provide the ownership for this Oracle user on these file systems. And for that I am going to execute this command chown Oracle, then the group name, and here the group name you can give either o install or DBA, and I am going to provide the ownership on all the 3 mount points, U01, U02 and U03. And the next one I am going to do is setting the kernel parameters. So now what exactly is this kernel parameters? Kernel parameters basically is going to restrict the access for Oracle user on the server resources. Like if you don't want to use more than certain size of SGA, then you can define that in this particular kernel parameters. Or if you don't want to use more than this particular CPU utilization, then you can set that in kernel parameters. So these kernel parameters are going to reside in a file called sysctl.conf, and this file is going to reside in etc location. So I'm just opening that file with vEditor and I'm going to do some modifications under that. So when comes to Oracle Linux, the advantage is all the kernel parameters will be set prior to the installation of 10G, but the values may differ from what exactly the values are required. So for example, the first one being the file max. So this parameter specifies how many maximum files Oracle user can create on the operating system. So this value we are going to change to 65,536, which is the recommended value for Oracle 10G installation. And next we have other kernel parameters like MSG MNI, then MSG max and MSG MNB. We are not going to touch those parameters, but the next one we are going to concentrate is semaphores. So in this semaphores we are going to change the last value from 140 to 128. And then the next parameter we have is shared memory minimum, that is SHM MNI. So we are not going to change anything, and all these values which are going to see for memory are in bytes. So here 4096 means it would be 4 KB. And the next one we have is SHM all, and this value again we are going to change something. So like 2097152. And the next parameter we are not going to touch it, and the real memory default also. And when comes to real memory max, it is better to maintain the same value as the one which we have for the default value, that is 262144. And as you can see a line here, the earlier value 4194304 is recommended for 11G, but right now what we are doing is 10G installation, so I am just proceeding with the same value. And then we are not going to touch other parameters, just remain those parameters with the same values, but we are going to change the last parameter, that is shared memory maximum. So this value we are going to change to 214,748,3648, which is nothing but 2 GB. So which means that from the RAM size whatever is there with this operating system, out of the RAM size I am going to allocate 2 GB for SGA. So that is what I am going to specify with this particular parameter. So once you do these modifications, you need to just save this particular file, and then you need to execute this file in order to make those values reflect immediately, or otherwise sometimes what will happen is those values will not get reflected until unless you restart the Linux machine. So instead of restarting the Linux machine, it is better to just run this command sysctl-p, which will set the values which you modified immediately to the operating system. So now in this list you can see the values which you have modified, like fs file max, then kernel SEM, then kernel SHM max, etc, etc. So these are all the steps that we are going to do, and the next one we are going to specify is we are going to now copy the software from the Windows machine to the Linux machine. And for that we have several protocols that we can follow, like FTP protocol and etc. But the easiest way to copy is using a software called WinSCP. So you can download this software from Google, and it is free, and you can install it. The installation steps are so very simple. So once you install it, you will get a icon like this on the desktop. So just double click on this icon, it will open a new session like this, where you need to provide the host name. So I'm just providing my host name. Then you need to give your username. So username you should be Oracle user, it should not be the root user. So and provide the password of the Oracle user. Then just click on login. Then it is going to open a screen, but well before that it is going to add the public keys. You can just click on S here. Then it is going to open a window like this, where you can see on the left hand side the Windows version is there, and on the right hand side Linux version is there. So point to the location where you have the software. For example, my software is in H drive. Then here Oracle softwares. So this is my software which I am pointing to. So you can see here it is 10.2.01 database Linux 32.zip, and where I want to copy. So I'm just going to root file system, and I have U03 here. So I'm just selecting that U03 and I'm just dragging and dropping that file. So when you use WinSCP, this is the advantage you have. You can just drag and drop the files either from Windows to Linux or Linux to Windows, so the transfer will be easy. And one important thing here you need to follow is you need to go to transfer settings and you need to select the binary option. So otherwise Oracle will follow, or operating systems will follow the ASCII format, and sometimes your software might get corrupted. So if you transfer in binary format, the file will not get corrupted and it will exactly get copied. So it is better to select this option binary and just click on copy, and it would take some time to copy, depends on how fast the network is. So here you can see it's just transferring with 873 or hardly 1000 kbps of speed. So and it might take around 10 minutes or so to complete this transfer. Okay, so now you can see the file got transferred successfully to the Linux machine. So I'm just minimizing this WinSCP window and opening the PuTTY session, and I'm just switching to Oracle user by using the command su-oracle. And as you know, I have transferred the file to U03, so I'm just directly jumping to that location and checking the file. So yes, the file is existing. Now I am going to unzip this file with the help of the command unzip and the file name. So it might take hardly 1 or 2 minutes to complete the unzip. Then we can do the installation with the help of some tools. So basically, as you all people know, that installation requires the graphical interface, but when comes to PuTTY session, PuTTY doesn't allow any graphical interfaces. So for this we either use it to depend on so many third-party tools, or we can depend on a free tool which is available within Linux operating system. So the common tools that we would be using in real time for this graphical installation is, the very famously used one is Xseed. So right now the version 12.0 is going on, and we are going to use another thing like Xmanager. So for this 4.0 version is going on in the market, and the other tools we can use is Hummingbird. So we can use this one, or X Windows. There is another tool. So like this, there are so many tools available in the market, and all these are third party tools and also the licensed tools. So if you want to use these tools, you need to purchase a license from those manufacturing companies. But the same can be achieved with the free tool which is available in the Linux operating system itself, and we call it as VNC server. So we can have this VNC server, and correspondingly we would be using another software like VNC viewer from Windows machine in order to achieve the installation part successfully. So I am going to show the simple thing on how we can do this installation using VNC server and VNC viewer. So you can download VNC server and VNC viewer from the website vnc.com, and these are free, and VNC server will come along with your Linux installation. You don't require to configure it separately. So from vnc.com you just require to download VNC viewer, and right now 4.0 version is going on. You just need to download that version for Windows operating system, and I will show you on how we can proceed with this installation by configuring or invoking this both the services. So the unzip is still going on. As I said, it depends on the RAM, how much you have allocated for this Linux machine also. So let us wait for this unzip to complete so that we can start the graphical installation. So now you can see the unzip got completed successfully. So as I said, we need to perform some steps in order to invoke VNC viewer. So we need to execute a file by the name VNC server, which is going to reside in this location USR bin. So just we need to run this, and it is going to ask you the password the very first time you run this. So provide some password over here, and again it will ask you to re-verify the password. So once you do this, it is going to invoke the graphical interface necessary things, and this is that particular address that we need to follow. So now what you need to do is you need to download that VNC viewer from that vnc.com, and I have already downloaded it. So you can see the icon on my desktop. So just I need to double click on this, and it may ask you to provide the server details here. So here, instead of giving this whatever you got like pavandba.com:1, so instead of giving that one, it is better that you give the IP address of the machine. So I'm just providing with the IP address, and port number you should not change it, so keep that one as it is and click on OK button. And now it is going to ask you for the password, and the password which you have given here, so you need to give that password now. So I'm just providing that, and now it will open a putty look like a window from which you can invoke the graphical installations. So I'm just moving to the location where I have unzipped the software, that is U03, and when we do unzip of the software, we would be getting a directory by the name database. So I'm just changing that directory to database, and under this there will be so many files, but the setup file which we'll be using is run installer. So you need to just say ./run installer, which will invoke the installation process. So it would usually when you invoke this graphical interface in VNC viewer, you would be getting the boxes like what you are seeing on the screen. So every time if you want to complete this process, or you want to view the screen, you need to do a mouse left click. So the moment I do mouse left click, you can see you can able to view the screen. And I am proceeding with the advanced installation. So I am selecting that option and clicking on next. So the very first screen, it is going to ask you something about Oracle Inventory. Now what is Oracle Inventory is, it is a central repository location which is going to give you the information like how many Oracle softwares were installed on this particular Linux server. So if you want to install whether 10G and 11G or any other softwares are installed on this Linux, you can basically use this particular inventory details. So later in another video I will show you how we can access that inventory and how we can get those details. And here in the operating system group name, you need to select the O install. So don't go with the DBA. So you need to select O install here and click on next. So in this screen, it is going to ask you which edition you want to install, whether you want to go for standard edition or enterprise edition. So standard edition will be having less number of features when compared to enterprise edition. So always we are interested in doing this enterprise edition installation. So I am just selecting that and clicking on next. Then you need to select the Oracle home path, that is nothing but the location where you want to install Oracle software or where you want to have these Oracle files in place. Usually these Oracle files are called as Oracle binaries. So here I am going to provide some location like U01 or R10G, and the above one is nothing but the name of this Oracle home. So I am just clicking on next later, and it is proceeding to the next screen where it is going to do some product specific checks, like it is going to check whether every operating system related parameter was set or not, whether kernel parameters are set or not, or whether network configuration parameters are set or not. So it is going to check all those details. And now you can see it is going to give something like the network configuration parameters was not executed. You can see the status here, but it can be ignorable. So I am just checking on this. The moment I click on this checkbox, you can see it says user verified, and I am just clicking on next. So if at all you get any warning with the network configuration parameters, you can just ignore that. And now in this screen you have three options like creating a database or configuring the ASM or installing the software. So later in another video I am going to show you how we can create a database using a tool as well as the manual method. So I am just proceeding with only the software installation now. So I am just clicking on that and proceeding next. So this is the final screen where it is going to show you in which Oracle home you are planning to install, and what is the installation type you have chosen, what is the product language you have selected, and whether do you have specific space requirements or not. And also it is going to give you the list of all the products that will be installed with this Oracle installation. So basically if you are installing Oracle, it is nothing but you are installing all these products like SQL Plus or the Java JDK version, etc, etc. So just clicking on install, it is going to start your installation process. So you can see over here, initially it is going to extract the files to the location what we are going to specify, and the corresponding log file, the installation log file, you can find it here. So if at all your installation got stuck or your installation failed due to some error, you can refer to this log file and you can identify the exact reason why that particular installation got stuck or why that particular installation got failed. So let us wait for a few minutes so that this installation would complete, and we will enter into the post installation steps. So the installation got completed successfully, and at the end of the installation it is going to ask us to execute two particular scripts as root user. So let us go and execute those scripts and see what exactly these scripts are going to do. So I'm just going to log in as a root user. So I am now there in root user. I need to just paste that script and enter. Now, in so many times in interviews they may ask you a question, what is the purpose of executing this particular script or inst root.sh. So you don't require to check for the answers in Google and all, so you can read just these two lines, which is nothing but the answer. So what this particular script is going to do, it is going to change the permissions on Oracle inventory to 770, that is full permissions for the owner and the group, but no read, write or execute permissions on the other users. And also it is changing the group name for the Oracle inventory to oinstall. So these are the two actions this particular script is going to do. And the next script that we have is root.sh. So when you execute this script, see what happens. So this particular script is going to create a file called oratab, which is going to reside under etc location. So if in interview somebody asks you what root.sh will do, the answer is it is going to create oratab file. And what is oratab file, what it is going to store, so we will be discussing more in future videos. So once you execute these two scripts, you can click on OK button here and exit. So that completes the installation of Oracle 10G on Linux 4.7. So we would be coming up with more and more videos for 11G installation and all other things. So thanks for your time and thanks for watching this video.